I wanted to use my other phone because it has a better camera view. And I've recently dropped this phone, so I'm not sure if it's just on my side, if it seems a little bit foggy on the screen, because that's what I see on my side, but it could just be my screen because I dropped the phone. Excuse me. We are going to have a lovely guest, and so let me send this out to her as the notifications are also going out. This is a beautiful divine sister who goes by the name of GinaJay. And I mean, I have had such a beautiful connection with Gina since I've interacted with her on quite a few lives now. And so I asked Gina to join us because I really wanted to introduce her to those of you who have been following me so that you can all follow me as well. And I do have her bio, so I kind of just want to read it and just know that she formulated this bio in such a beautiful structure, and it still does not give her justice to what her energy really embodies, in my opinion. She is a beautiful divine soul, and so yeah, know how I do when I connect with specific individuals that I really feel that you all can find resources with, connect with, learn from, whatever the energetic exchange be for your highest and greatest good and the highest and greatest good of all involved, is always my goal to share that and spread that, right? And so GinaJay, and there she goes, she's actually here. Welcome, sis. GinaJay is a spiritual guider, which I love that that's what she calls herself, because that's exactly what we are. And an influencer of peace, love, and light. Her love for transparent truth is unique, with the ability to receive downloads. And she be hitting. She's journeying for the movement of the Most High's creation. She extends her knowledge and wisdom through willingness to help captivate a honest order for a new world. GinaJay is known for her bubbly, fun-sized personality, and she has quite a bit of personality for sure. That small but pack a punch type of activist. Not small at all. That's me. I'm adding some stuff to her bio because she just does so much beautiful justice to herself. Okay. That small but pack a punch type of spirit. Yes. Beyond her spiritual work, she's an activist who's hosted many cannabis stages, events, panels, and trade shows. So I love that. I love that. I was actually going to ask her some questions in regards to that when it comes down to the divine feminine energies and the canna plant. So I love that she has that on her bio. She's been on a path to embrace a like-minded community. She embraces the arts of keeping connected by tribing with others. GinaJay is committed to being a self-sufficient entrepreneur. Her willingness continues to visit tribes around the world to offer her acts of service through divine spirit, honored by the Most High. So if you see me look into the side, it was because I was reading, because like I said, technical difficulties, right? Please share this live. I'm also going to, I think IG did an update because it's showing like it's ringing like a phone call. I've never seen that happen before. There we go. Hello. Hey.
Abundant, beautiful soul. Abundant, beautiful soul.
You are so beautiful. Thank you for joining me. I know like there's some people that's gonna come and watch the replay because they've already messaged me like, hey, please still do the live. I want to show up. But they're busy. So hello, Sandra. Hello, Gina. Thank you so much, Gina, for like vibing out, being here, sharing your essence and your energy. That was such a beautiful bio. And I know I kind of like butchered it a little bit
No,
with my insight and my pronunciation of words.
no, no, no butchers. It was received. It was delivered. Thank you, sis. I so much gratitude for having me here in this space. On this full moon, you know, on this beautiful pink full moon. Thank you for anyone that is going to participate in this live, that is going to join us. Thank you for your presence. It is a gift, and I am appreciative of having you present in this space.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So Gina, I was like, I really love how you embody the divine feminine essence, the energy. We are androgynous beings, so we have both feminine and masculine energies, and you wear that balance very well. But instantly, it was when I first seen you and connected with you on the live, just the full resonance of divine feminine energy was like, yes, she knows what that means, because it's I feel like it's a word that is getting thrown out a lot more than what it's understood or embodied in its actuality and entirety. um so I was like, yeah, I have to have her come on here. I have to, yeah.
Gratitude.
So before I ask like 101 questions, right? Can you like just give us a brief through of your journey of how you came to, I guess, your awakening of connecting with any form of divinity, be it divine masculine or divine feminine parts of your journey, whichever way it led you, but just your awakening and what that kind of looked like for you.
Absolutely. Um, so I can start with, my I guess adolescent years. My adolescent years, dealing with so many things traumatically. My masculinity showed up more than anything. My masculinity represented for myself because of wanting to protect myself, for protection, wanting to be able to provide for myself. And so in the space, masculinity represented itself heavy. And it almost carried over into, I would say like probably until I was like 27, because I was still married and I still carried some of that. I got married at 23 and I still carried some of that masculine energy coming, not healed yet. Okay. And it's just truth, not coming into my true divinity yet. And saying that is because going through so many traumatic experiences, I was not capable of tapping into the feminine order. I was outside of my feminine order um, because I was protecting myself through masculinity order. So when I had got into a marriage, it was almost combative, realizing I had masculine protection, and it was time for me to serve in my feminine order now. And in that space, it kind of brought some frustrations in my marriage, because I didn't know my role as my feminine order. So things happen in timelines, and the era and the errors. And in those spaces, I definitely ended up tapping in. I believe 33, 34, 33, 34 is when I tapped in. It happened for me. But a lot of things had acquired in that space, being married, even from experiencing, going through so many travels and realms of different experiences that allowed me this opportunity to be able to be blessed with this foresight that I'm into today, that God has given me, or the Most High has given. Because I have a thing about the uni. There's this uni. It's just not Him alone. It's definitely a connection. It is the universe's. It's our mother and father. in all
Mhm.
things. So in regard, I give big ups to the Most High, which is the uni.
Shame. So, I love that you mentioned like having to protect yourself, being in your masculine during like your marriage and like the tug of war of like surrenderance and not surrendering and like being dominant, right? And, um, you know, in your journey, it leading you in your early 30s, to find that divinity. What was it in, whether it was through your marriage or in life in general, if you don't mind sharing, what was that point that was like, this is not, this can't be from the Most High. This is not, or I don't want to project words onto you because I have a different view. I feel like everything is from the Most High, but how we handle
Absolutely.
it, it's that's a whole other subject. So, what was that moment that said something's got to change? Or what led you? Was it somebody said something to you? Was it a book or a sign? Like, what was that epiphany aha moment that led to you wanting to learn divinity?
It was actual an experience. And so going through it again, going through the ups and downs of my marriage, I had came into an experience. My partner had became addicted to meth, and he was on meth for some years that I did not know about. I knew there was confliction, but I didn't know what the confliction was, what the chaos was. I couldn't title or name the deity that was causing this distraction. So in the space, I had came across, well, all things come to the light. So he was revealed. He ended up being revealed by being arrested. And so when this happened, is like no more hiding, all things to the light. And in that space and in that time, my marriage was at a big break because I needed to know that the man that I was choosing to remain with in life was not just going to change in love and matter for me, but for himself, to fall back in love with who he was, the I loved from the beginning. And so I needed him to get back to who he was originally. And in that space, I reserved myself. I gave back the Ivy wed ring, and we were still on contract, but I reserved myself and gave myself space. And then it was a eat, love, pray situation. So I traveled on about what it was spirit called me to be in. If it was several waters, if it was territory, if it was, all of it was for prayer, loving, eating, in the space of myself as well, to establish that I was soft, that I was, this beautiful feminine order, that I did receive. It was more than me seeking it. It was what was given to me through the forms of these experiences. I didn't know what I was until I had of course, these downloads kept coming in a space of doing survival work for the physical order. um, I've done so many things to survive, for work. In those spaces, I just kept getting pulled away from those things because they were not of order. And even though I kept getting closer to uh, even being in cannabis, of course, this is of the divine feminine plant. So we already know what this beautiful thing, this beautiful plant provides in its order. But for me, in that space, that it became corrupted. What it was no longer. We ended up prostituting the plant, so it became corrupted, and I couldn't no longer be and serve in this space anymore. So I had to remove myself from this space because Spirit called me to still have a purpose, but not in this space. And I still didn't know then. I was still locked into doing people pleasing. I was still tethered to people pleasing during survival. You end up doing
Mm-hmm.
many things that you got to do just to pay your bills. So I was still tethered to people pleasing. And when I would receive downloads, I rejected them because I was terrified of losing a job, terrified of losing friends, family, whatever, breaking relationships. So when down, I was terrified of delivering these things in the form of, because I was too scared to lose, too fearful to lose what I felt that we have created in relationship. And in reality, these relationships were not real if I could not help transition this truth. And so Spirit ended up letting me know, I ended up getting my download maybe like a year. when the creator dropped last year that I was an oracle. It took all the way,
Mm.
42 years old now, and it took all this time to come into what it was because I truly put down the work. I went through a cleanse. I went through all this fasting. I went through all these things that help
Mhm.
register what it was for me to download what it was that what my purpose was to serve here.
Mhm. Thank you so much. Oh, that is so powerful. And I love that you mentioned like rejecting the messages out of like fear and survival, because I think everyone has experienced benefit of the doubts in situations, have experienced like want subconsciously people pleasing or having a subconscious fear of abandonment or judgment or something to, I promised this person XYZ that I will be there, and you want to keep giving your loyalty, your loyalty, your loyalty. And the divine is like, you've given everything you can. The reciprocation is not there. And now it is causing a resistance in both of your journeys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to go over here. This is where the promise is going to continue to be fruitful. If you love them, you promise to love them unconditionally through thick and thin, the highs and the lows, then you gotta exit left.
It's great.
And you're like,
Grace to
how is that loyalty? How is that, it can, our ego and even our, our masculine logic and do all these things. So you saying that was just, it resonated so much because I definitely know it is a journey, and age is nothing but a fucking number.
it is.
Let's,
From
let's
time is
just say that.
of an illusion, and so yes, it is. I just for to stay in this physical, because I know I serve too. I'm and for me, the consciousness of a 24-hour period is for me to serve 12 to 12, and so in the 12-hour period, I know to serve spiritual, and I know in 12 hours I must be abundant in my physical as well. Doesn't mean I just get to come out here and be whatever I want in my physical, but I know to regard my spiritual in my physical as well. But there is 12 hours that I must do service, that I must, that I have to survive. Does not mean I have to survive in the narrative of a diseased world, or a traumatized world. And a lot of it is from the projections we create in this space.
Mhm.
We're a lot of us are tethered to trauma, and we're unfortunately projecting this into our worlds.
Mhm. So I kind of want to backtrack still because you said a lot. So there's a lot that I want to like uncover from there, right? So I want to tap in a little bit with like the cannabis and how that's like turned from, being like prostituted detriment to like medicine, and how did you even like figure out it was connected to divine feminine energy, right? That we'll get to that in just a moment. So I do just putting that out there. And then you mentioned traveling and like prayer and stuff like that. So before we go into the cannabis, I kind of want to first go into like prayer. Was it through, because you mentioned, so cannabis might be first. You know your life better. You'll answer it according to how you feel. I'm just gonna ask the question. And for those of you tapping in, welcome. If you have any questions, there's a question box below. Feel free to ask those questions. And before we go at the end, I will ask those questions. So, what kind of came first in your life? Wanting to travel? Was it like a guide or a push or a gut feeling, intuition that says, I need to travel, I need to go to XYZ? Or was it prayer and then the intuition, or was it through cannabis that led to prayer, that led to traveling? Or how was that sequence of events, and how did it like
So
morph together?
herbs have always been. I'll start with I denounced pharmaceutical meds long time ago, kind of like with religion. Those things have been denounced for me. And reason being because I've tried them, I've experienced it, and these things did not get me into the ascensional value I needed to be for health or for conscious state of being. And I say that because I have polycystic ovaries, and in that space, I had to. Well, the doctor suggested that I take birth control to regulate a period. So I did what the man requested. Here it is. I don't question the practitioners, the practicers. I just take on what these practicers, because they're certified, I take what they say for face value. And I go and take these, consume this birth control. And over a period of years, I end up sick, and I end up having to have my gallbladder removed. Now, I was never
Mhm.
really big
Mhm.
on smoking like that, but when I realized that I had lost an organ to
Mhm.
pharmaceutical measures, I had started advocating for cannabis, or just advocating for um, any other form of medicinal value, something of herbs that would create medicinal value for others outside of pharmaceutical measurement. So that's when I really started advocating in that space, because I needed it for my body's sake. Then I ended up having two knee surgeries. And it was bigger for
Mhm.
me than it was recreational. It became truly medicinal for me. I understood, overstood why I was partaking in this. It calmed my anxiety as I was going through the lawsuit. It gave me an appetite, because my appetite was suppressed. It was so many things that I realized that this medicine actually helped me with. Now, had I gone to a doctor and complained about these same things, the doctor would have prescribed me probably 20 more pills. And how many or more organ failures would I have partook in that place? So um I really just I delve into cannabis so hard that it was like, who is this girl going crazy about cannabis, and why is she, so many platforms were opened up. I podcasted, I've done shows, I really ran the ranks in cannabis. But again, like I said, everything has a place. When it became uh, agreeable to a dollar, it became corrupted. And so in that space, I realized that cannabis was the budding. Anything that we take from the flowers, this is a woman plant. It's a woman. It's the woman that creates the babies. The male is a seed. They go pheno hunting for the goodest male seed to pollinate and create the greatest babies. So she is a female plant that creates these babies. And so yes, this is why I have such a connection to this plant. So yes, I took this plant, and of course the plant went everywhere I went on my meditation journey, my traveling journey, my eat journey, my pray journey. It assisted everything. It assisted
Mhm.
everything. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I used to smoke weed all the time. I also had my gallbladder removed for similar experiences. So that is very interesting that you mentioned that specific organ. And I remember I was meditating at the time already and whatnot, but I was like subconsciously doing womb healing because of birth controls and all these things that was going on. They wanted me to do a hysterectomy at the time, and I was like,